You interested in TikTok? You been ticking? You been talking? Well, obviously there's a ton of controversy that's been all over everywhere around TikTok for more than a year now. It's been going on years at this point. And it's been really this thing where we're not sure whether it's going to get banned or not. I remember one of the really popular things was when Joe Rogan was talking about going through basically like the fine print of TikTok and how much that they take as far as information from you, how much they actually are tracking you and knowing everything about you. It makes people feel pretty uncomfortable. And truthfully, for me, I don't really use TikTok. I find myself just scrolling on YouTube and Instagram enough. I don't need another platform. And there's a lot of repurposed stuff between the two, or between those platforms anyway. But there's this article here talking about maybe this actual ban that's going to potentially be happening. And so what they're saying is that basically the Chinese ownership in here needs to basically back out and sell their stakes, which, I mean, it makes a lot of sense because and I'm not a political expert, and I really, in a lot of sense, I don't know what I'm talking about, but we do know that China is a force to be reckoned with, and we've got to be careful as U.S. In what information we're giving them. Obviously, they run their country way different than we do here in the U.S. of A. But yeah, Biden administration demanding that Chinese owners sell their stakes or face a possible U.S. ban. We'll see. I mean, this has been happening in the UK too, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think they're getting closer to actually pulling the trigger on that, at least at the time of this recording. But once again, I just wanted to share this article. I'm not like super studied up on any of this, but it was worth looking at. TikTok said Wednesday that a forced sale wouldn't address the perceived security risk. It has pledged to spend $1.5 billion on a program to safeguard U.S. user data and content from Chinese government access or influence. So then my question becomes, if that's the case, then like what really is going on here? Because what do you mean you're creating a program that's going to safeguard my data? Like if Chinese government still really has primary ownership stake over TikTok, then doesn't that still leave the same issue, the same sense of like distrust or just uncertainty that anybody in the U.S. would have around using the platform? Now, I mean, don't get me wrong. I think there's so many people using TikTok worldwide, U.S. included, that I don't really think that I don't know that this would make for more people to use the platform. And I don't think that's really the point of this article, but it is kind of interesting to think about. But then at the same time, if I knew that it was in if the U.S. government, and obviously I'm here in America, if the U.S. government owned TikTok like majority share or outright, and there was no international security issues involved, maybe I would be more apt to actually using the platform a little bit more. I don't know, but for the reasons I said earlier, it's not something I'm on a ton right now as it is. But yeah, kind of a longer article. What else we got here? Could become a U.S. company. Okay, here's what the plan that 1.5 billion would do. Essentially wall off its U.S. operations with all data being stored in the U.S. Okay, all right, fair enough. So maybe I take back some of the things I just said. Also calls for giving a U.S. company, Oracle, the ability to access the company's algorithmic code and flag issues for Okay. All right, fair enough. What do you guys think? What do you think about this? I'd imagine it'd be easy for me to assume that you're probably on TikTok or use it. I mean, I have the app. I'm not saying I don't even have it. So I guess the whole security thing, and I've already basically given that over, right? But yeah, the company can argue that any forced sale would amount to a ban because the Chinese government wouldn't allow TikTok algorithm to be sold along with it. Okay. Interesting. We'll see what happens, but this is going in the right direction, right? I feel like anytime that there's too much primary ownership from one group or one person, there's always a level of uncertainty or distrust. I think all of us as humans, just in general, we kind of have a bit of control issues, or maybe not even that, but more so of like when we see somebody having so much control, so much power, whether it's a person or a group or a country or whatever, there's like it really starts to play into the trust factor in all of us. And we don't want to be duped. We don't want to be screwed over by something that we didn't realize we were signing up for. And so hence all of this controversy around TikTok and these bans in the UK, potentially in the US. So it's kind of interesting. Hey, let's change up the ownership structure. Let's put some protective measures in place. And TikTok's not so controversial at that point. Time will tell.